financial independence. And how do I plan to do that? In 2025, I and a group of people, we're going to be hearing from a few of them, have decided that we're going to put together a series that cuts across 8 major investment asset classes and tell people, show them the know-how of how they can go about earning from these streams by giving them actionable steps that they can also implement. So we started this journey last month with the Financial Market Masterclass. We had experts come in, and these experts are part of a group that I founded, the New Kings Group. They're investors, they are practitioners, and basically they gave their expertise. So you can find, for those who missed that masterclass, it's up on YouTube. You can go and watch it. In that masterclass, we were able to go through how to start earning from stocks, from mutual funds, from treasury bills, treasury notes, treasury bonds, and then also commercial papers. So today, we're going to move into the real estate realm. And then we would now, of course, begin to see how it is possible to earn at whatever level we are from real estate. So without further ado, I'm going to introduce the practitioners, the experts that are going to be talking to us today. So please, Blessing, if you can unmute and just introduce yourself.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Blessing Eleya. I'm a personal finance mentor and trainer, and the founder of the Finance Nation, a financial literacy platform. I'm also a real estate consultant with the Bamboo Group. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Blessing. Okay, let's hear you, Francis.
Francis Ajilore is my name. I am currently the Chief Executive Officer of Posh Real Estate Limited, a forward-thinking real estate firm dedicated to delivering exceptional property solutions. But with over 13 years of proven experience in business development, sales, leadership, I'm committed to driving growth, fostering innovation, and making people richer and better than the way I met them. Thank you very much.
Fantastic. And finally, Rose.
All right. Hello, everyone. Good evening. My name is Rose Ayo. I'm a sales and business development expert. I work with Legacy Investment Consultancy. So basically, I help clients to build their investment portfolio by investing in UK and Dubai property market. Thank you.
All right. Thank you very much. So I'll start with the real estate market overview. So for my first chart here, you can see that globally, real estate is quite significant, right, in terms of the amount being invested in real estate. Residential real estate accounts for about $258 trillion. Agricultural land, which is still part of real estate, about 35 trillion. And then there's commercial real estate, which is about 32 trillion. And you can see how it compares to gold, for example, debt securities, equities. So it's quite significant. It's one of the biggest investment or asset classes in the world today. Okay. The second chart talks about the Nigerian real estate market. And currently, we are just doing under $100 million. So you can see there's so much scope for growth. The projection here says by 2030, we should be approaching $140 million. Okay. We're going to be touching on quite a few different types of real estate investments, from residential to apartments to single family. And then we're also going to touch on REITs. So today is going to be packed. I want you guys to be attentive. Of course, I hope you have your jotters, pens, so that you can take down things that you need to do immediately as you finish from this session. So the first income stream we're going to be looking at is real estate investment trusts, for short, REITs. It's not very popular, but ideally, a lot of us on this call should be part of this, because it is the easiest way to get on the property ladder anywhere in the world, especially in Nigeria. So what is a real estate investment trust? A group of people come together and they form a company, and they use the capital that they've raised to buy real estate. It could be commercial, it could be residential, and then they grow that portfolio and begin to earn rental income from that portfolio, right? Now, as they generate income from that portfolio, they issue out shares to the public, and they ensure that about 80% of the profits that are generated from that revenue goes back to the investors on an annual basis. So what you typically find is that they have a minimum of 100 shareholders in each of these REITs. It is managed by a board of directors or trustees, and the entity is actually supervised by the SEC, Security and Exchange Commission. So all their financial dealings are transparent, and they report on them annually, or I think it's quarterly, based on the SEC regulations. Okay, so our case study today is UPDC. In Nigeria, there are 3 registered REITs. There's the SFS REITs, and then the Union Home REITs, which is called UHome REITs, right? But the one for the case study today is the UPDC. It's the biggest of them all. It was founded or created in 2013, and it's managed by Stanbic Asset Management. They own, for people that are in Lagos, they own places like Victoria Mall Plaza, Pearl Hostels in Pan Atlantic University, the UAC Commercial Building, Kingsway Building, Abebe Courts, etc., etc. And they also have lots of other properties in Port Harcourt. They own quite a few estates, and I'm sure they have like significant property holdings in Abuja because they're actually the biggest. So from what you can see on my screen, in 2023, they did over 1.89 billion in revenues, and you can see the jump from that in 2024 to 2.9 billion. Okay, of course, their gross profit is quite healthy as well. Imagine a company making revenue of 2.9 billion and their gross profit is 2.6 billion. And as I said in the previous slide, you have to, by law, give out 80 to 90% of your profits to your shareholders every year as dividend payments. So literally, anybody on this call that has as little as 5,000 naira can buy a share in UPDC, and that entitles you to dividend payments every year as a property owner. So that is an income stream that you decide how much of you want, because I mean, there's nobody on this call that does not spend maybe like 5,000 naira on credit card or what's it called, call cards every year or every month. So you can literally afford to be on the property ladder with as little as 5,000 naira. One share of UPDC is selling at around as at the last check, 6 naira 70 kobo. So with your 5,000 naira, you can imagine how many shares you can, or how many units you can pick up immediately. So one of the ways you can get this is if you have opened a brokerage account with any of our brokers, stock brokers, and literally just buy UPDC shares immediately. UPDC REITs, there are 2 different types of shares. There's the UPDC shares for the company, and then there's the UPDC REITs. They are both listed. If you buy the UPDC REITs, you are entitled to the dividend payouts every year. I think they do theirs either once a year or twice. I'm not sure, but you can check that and verify that from your brokers. So you can see how easy it is for you to become a real estate owner. Literally, every month you can top up, buy more shares. The more you own, the more of a shareholder you are in UPDC, the bigger you are. And then, of course, the bigger your dividend payouts. So this is something everybody on this call can do immediately, right? So for those of us who are joining us from outside of the country, REITs is not just for Nigeria. There are different, in fact, there are multiple types of REITs that you can invest in. You can decide to go passive. There's the US passive, the global passive, and these are the tickers for each of the different REITs that are available all you just need to do is contact your mortgage broker or your stock broker to show you what they carry. And then, of course, you can pick based on whether you want an actively managed REIT. An actively managed REIT just means that there's a fund manager that is actively managing and balancing the portfolio and all of that. While the passive, you just dump your money there. It is on autopilot and it's doing what it's supposed to do every year, paying out your dividends. Okay, of course, there's always a disclaimer. You have to do your due diligence, check the prior payments from these different REITs. Have they been consistent, etc., before you make your decision. But this is the easiest way to get on the property ladder when it comes to real estate investing. Okay, so I'm going to now hand over to Rose. No, sorry, not Rose. Blessing, who will take us through land banking. So Blessing, over to you, please.
All right, thank you, Rector. So another way to earn from real estate is through what we call land banking. And land banking is a real estate investment where you get to purchase a land and leave it for a holding period before selling. So it's a question of you want to get something, maybe you're working, you can actually buy this land and tie it to a project in the future. You can buy and keep, afterwards you sell at a premium. This you can do through what we call speculation or buy to flip. When you do speculation, you're actually projecting at so time you're hoping that government infrastructural development is going to get a certain area in wherever you're buying from. And then buy to flip is where you decide, okay, I don't want to do mid or long term. I want to do something that is a short term gain where you're working with a period of 12 months. At that point, you opt for the buy to flip. That gives you a specific return on investment ranging from 30 to 35%. So there are things you actually need to know. First, before going into land banking, you need to be sure that you're going to embrace the waiting game. It's actually a waiting game. It's not something you opt in and opt out immediately. So if you have decided that you want to do land banking, first and foremost, you need to be sure that you're working with a registered real estate company who have registered, who are known as registered brokers in the real estate industry. And then there are a lot of things you also need to look at, because sometimes government can come up with different issues. It could be maybe one law comes into effect and it's affecting a particular area. And this is the reason why I need to work with registered real estate company. Another thing you also need to know, to be sure that you're not falling into the hands of community people. I've seen and I've also heard a situation where someone buys a land and after then there are issues. And then even the community can put up a litigation against the government in some cases. So you really need to have an organized, structured company to actually do this for you so that you can avoid the pitfalls. And then another thing you need to also check is to make sure that the location is very, very important. It's not everywhere you need to buy land from when you are looking at land banking. You need to buy at areas where you're sure that the appreciation rate is actually going to get to your projected desire. If you're buying just anywhere, there is possibility that the city is not moving towards that area, and that is also going to affect your investment. So there are advantages, and so there are also disadvantages, things you need to be careful of and then be mindful of. And the next thing you need to also know, most times people ask, why should I do land banking? Of course, the advantages are quite a lot, the advantages are a lot. First thing you will see is that when you decide to go into land banking, you're not thinking of maintenance. You're not going to be thinking of maintenance. You're not spending money to, once you buy a place, you just leave it. So long as you're dealing with registered organization. There are instances where after buying, maybe you bought through community, members and all, and then you just go one day and somebody is farming on your land. But if you're working with a real estate company, then you can have peace of mind. So there's opportunity for massive gains if you project well. There's opportunity for that if you do your speculation right, and then if you look at the trend analysis, you'll be able to get it right. Another thing you can also benefit is that you can sell off your investment at a premium. We have clients who have done maybe 6 million, and then within a short period of 3 to 4 years, they are selling off at almost 30-something million. I don't think any investment can give you that right now. So, and another thing is, it is a wonderful way for you to also diversify your portfolio. I mean, you've heard, don't put all your eggs in one basket. So venturing into real estate, there is there's aspect of, property development and all. This is an aspect where you can say, okay, let me just do a part of this. And then the next thing is a good way to hedge against inflation. The least you can make when it comes to land banking, the least really is about 30% in 1 year. Excuse me, Nigerian current inflation rate is at 27% as at today. So, and you've already done so well if you can do 30 or 35%. With buy to flip, you can achieve this with ease, and that's within a period of 12 months. And we'll look at some areas in Port Harcourt and then in Lagos State. So can actually understand why speculating right is very important. Currently, I grew up in Port Harcourt, and there was a time where if you didn't have any property along Agri Road or Degema Street or let's say Azikwe Road, I mean, you've not made it. And then the city started moving and got to Bunabali, and then eventually shifted to Elekoya, Romasi, Stadium Road, Elelewon, and took a dive backwards and entered Roboko. So currently the city is moving to Burikore. For those of us who live in Port Harcourt, when you get to Burikore, currently you understand what I'm trying to say. So it's one area you can look at and say, okay, as at this December last year, at Burikore, you can actually get a plot of land for 6 million, 7 million, even 8 million. Today, if you don't have 19 million upwards, I can specifically tell you won't be able to get any property there. And in the next 24 months, it's actually going to hit above 100% because of the rate of development in that area. Now, for Lagos, for example, when Lekki started, there was this saying, anything beyond Lekki, please don't tell me. And then gradually, Lekki moved from phase 1, and then to get to Aja, you get to Oshchid, and then you get to Chevron. The city is still moving. Right now, Leju, Epe area, Lekki is already at Ikorodu as we speak. Right now, if somebody who actually wants to do land banking very well, I mean, if you're not buying land in Mowe, you do Mota, please do, because that's where the city is going to. And that's the beautiful thing about speculation. And then when you get in there, you just wait. Don't be in a hurry. It's a waiting game. And like we say, real estate is the only asset that is real. Thank you so much. I'll call on TFA to take off from here and take us into co-ownership. Thank you.
Thank you, Blessing. So Francis, over to you, please.
Thank you very much, Madam B. Thank you very much, Coach, as well. Good evening to our audience. It's nice being here today. So I'll start by saying that, look, you need to define your objective. Direction is always superior to speed, and the need to get clarity of direction will always give you advantage. I spoke somewhere this morning where I talked about carving a niche for yourself. There are different aspects of real estate. There are different portfolios, even outside of real estate, that you could invest into. But within the real estate space, one of the key things I've spent time to do over the years is around housing. And within the housing, you have the sole ownership and you have the co-ownership. Then I've often taken my time between 2019 and up till this year. I've invested time and resources in studying within the real estate space. And our board as a company have expertise, experienced people around different aspects of this business that we run. So, but let me just quickly dive in by saying co-ownership in real estate has become a popular option for many individuals. And may I say that within our own company, Portugal, we always say that we present you a fair share of luxury and elegance. So if you can't solely own such a property, luxury does not necessarily mean it's out of your reach. You can, through co-ownership, have an experience with that. And one of our co-ownership products that we introduced a couple of years, just a little over a year and a half ago, is known as Adjogen. Within Adjogen in itself, we have different options. Like I said earlier on, I've spent time to study, experiment with personal and minimal resources. And so as we definitely move towards expansion, we felt that, look, beyond just doing alone as an organization, let us create this opportunity and make it available for other people. As a matter of fact, the turning point was sometime in 2023 when we had overwhelming demand for our short-let apartments. And, we kept turning down requests. But this particular person told me that, Francis, are you saying the person came in to subscribe to our apartment, tried to book through Airbnb and said, are you saying you're turning down $2,800? I said, other people have paid. So, and then it dawned on me that, look, instead of just trying to do it alone, why don't you create the opportunity for other people? Georgia is a Yoruba, I don't know how to describe it. However, it simply means let's share together. And there's a balance that says it's sweeter when we share together. So to maximize our time, let's go to the next slide, please. So like I said, we have different variants, and that is to take care of the expectation of our interested markets. But before I go into those variants, there are various merits why you should consider co-ownership, like that of what we have in our Georgia. One of it is low capital. One thing I tell you people is, look, even if you have a deep pocket, even if you have all the resources, who says you must go and use yourself as a guinea pig? Who says that you must be the beacon? Who says you must lose those funds because you want to experiment? So you could, as much as you could say, yeah, people say, look, there's so much money within the hospitality space, there's so much money within short-let space. Do you have the expertise? I mentioned that between 2019 and 2022, my focus was primarily on short-let apartment and hotel apartment. Between 2022 till date, it's been resort aspect of the hospitality space. So if you don't have prerequisite expertise, why risk your capital? So you could penetrate into this market, into co-ownership with low capital. Your exposure, your risk is minimal. Risk to reward. When you look at what you're risking to your reward, you certainly know that it's a game, it's a no-brainer that you should take advantage of opportunities like this. Leveraging professional expertise and numbers. So for us, we understand that, look, at some point, we intend to grow our apartments to as much as 100 units, 500 units across the city in Nigeria and possibly spread across Africa. So how then do we continue to get all this place apartment occupied? So we have a community that we call Shore Finders, and that's also an invitation to people who are not earning income, because for you to invest, it means that you need to earn an income. And if you're beginning to consider to say, look, I want to earn an income, our products are ideal product that you can push out there to begin to generate income. More importantly, when people co-own a product, they don't market that product as the product of a company. They take it as our product, and that makes it go, cover more mileage. More people get to know about the product. So we leverage. One of the advantages of joining our co-ownership product is that we leverage expertise that we have on the team, and more importantly, we leverage our numbers. Structured management, we're a structured organization. We'll be doing this for a while. Like I said earlier on, I have well over 13 years experience within the real estate space. Steady rental cash flow. I tell people that this is my own ATM machine. I barely, running costs is all I have in my bank. Every other thing is assets that certainly generates them. And that's what I live by. Capital appreciation. We have had projects that we bought into. For instance, we did a project in 2023 that late 2023 into 2024, that as at the time we bought the first unit, it was about 100 million. We bought the remaining 2 units at 135 million. Today, it's well over 200 million naira, and it is not even still completed. Upon completion, we are projecting something around 240. So those same properties keep generating cash flow at the same time, keep experiencing capital appreciation. So let's go to the next slide where I begin to show, narrow the whole thing down, where you begin to see opportunity. So for people who are looking at short-term opportunities, Ajoje Fix, it ticks the box for you. I believe that when you are positioning yourself within the real estate space, while you look at long-term, you need to look at the short-term. None of us stand on one leg. It's either you are shaking or not stable. So it is expected that you diversify your investment portfolio to take care of long-term and take care of short-term. So Ajoje Fix is one of our short-term, co-ownership products that allows you earn from our existing short-let apartments in Lagos. So you get approximately 90% in 3 years, which is 36 months, which is also translates to 15% every 6 months. I'll give you a practical example. If you're doing 10 million naira, for instance, within Ajoje Fix, the least, by the way, that you could come in is 1 million naira. But if you are doing as much as 10 million naira, you will be getting 1.5 million naira every 6 months, while that asset portfolio in itself serves as collateral for that investment. And so over an extended period of 3 years, you will have earned 9 million naira on 10 million naira, and you still get your capital back, with an option to renew the subscription, which obviously you will need to give us not less than 6 months notice if you intend to renew. Else we will refund your capital back to you at maturity. So the other option is Ajoje Life, because we are mindful of the fact that, look, people differ, and some people, the first objective of an investor is that they don't want to lose their money. So Ajoje Life takes care of this so I'll use the same 10 million naira as an illustration, even though 1 million naira is the entry point. You have, with Ajoje Life, you can earn partly of your capital and interest every 6 months. So you are meant to earn 50% in 24 months. So if you're investing 10 million, that means your overall rental income is meant to be 5 million. If you add it to 15 million, you prorate it over 4 cycles, of which is split in 6 months. Every 6 months, you get 3,750,000, and which by the 18th month, you have recouped your capital in full and also part of your rental income. And by 24th month, you're just getting what is more like your profit. Ajoje Exclusive is something that I can't take time to explain here, but it's an exclusive subscription for our subscribers, interested persons to reach me privately. We started from 3 million, it became 3.5. Today, it's selling for 7 million naira per unit share. It's a unique approach to co-ownership. We are offering opportunity for people to get it at 6 million naira, valid till end of this March 30th. Conversation and inspection, virtual inspection, physical inspection will aid in decision making as regards this. Ajoje Growth is currently not available. It's one of the ways we maximize opportunities for people. So the next slide, knowing fully well that people have opportunity to own a fair share of our login. So you could do that through co-ownership, but who says that you can't be part owner of the business in itself? Who says that you should settle for bread when you can actually own the bakery? And that's where we're taking it much further through a product that we call Safe Plus. That avails you the opportunity to key in to be a part owner of the business itself with as little as 5 million naira, which gives you a fair, reasonable share of it. 1% for is the minimum a group of people could use in owning a stake. 5% stake in the business could amount to 250 million, and 10% stake, which also avails you the opportunity to be on the board of the company, cost goes for 500 million. Why is this very, very important? Based on experience, we've come to see that project, when you sell at off plan, most times the subscribers are the ones who benefit from it. Now we want to change the game. We want a situation where our projects are 80% to 90% completion before we start putting them out for sale. We have our unique strategy well in place, and we are ready to go in that direction. So we want people who are part owners of the business to be more of a beneficiary rather than just a subscriber. And that's one of the reasons why I present this opportunity to the general floor on this day. So at this point, without wasting much of our time, I'd like to pass the baton to Rose. Thank you all.
All right, well done, Mr.
Thank you, Francis. Yes.
Thank you very much, Coach, for this opportunity. All right, welcome once again, everyone. For this session, I'll be taking us across borders. So basically, I'll be talking about investment opportunities in the international property market. And just to note, we're focusing on two major economies, UK and Dubai. So for this, just like the first speaker said, when it comes to investing in the foreign property market, the main aim is towards wealth preservation. So it's a long-term game. And the focus point is the goal is you are earning globally while you are spending locally. So let's start with why are more Nigerians beginning to invest in UK and Dubai? So first one is long-term financial security. So every white investor knows that when you begin to invest, yes, get the lands, go into ownership, it's all great. But begin to plan to diversify your investment portfolio. So you are aiming at investing in stronger economy. We know how fragile Nigeria can be most of the time. So why don't you strengthen your wealth portfolio? Take, for example, talking about Dubai. Right now, Dubai is one of the world's most innovative hubs. And early this month, it was stated that 42% of investors going into Dubai are non-resident, meaning there would always be a need for good home offerings. Also, country diversification, this will help you to mitigate risk. So you're not putting all your eggs in one basket, you're spreading it out. Sorry, previous slide. Okay. Then currency and economic edge. The British pound, that is the UK currency, is the 5th strongest currency in the world. So imagine going into that, owning a property in UK, and you're earning in one of the world's most strongest currency. That is like an advantage. That is aimed at preserving your wealth. Educational planning. We know a lot of Nigerians, we love to send our kids abroad. So you can start planning ahead for this. Take, for example, Manchester, University of Manchester is one of the top ranked university in the world. So you can help balance your expenses where you're earning in the same currency as well as you're spending in terms of your kids' education. Fixed income. So we have people who are about to retire or they want to have a fixed income. This is a good way. Wealth growth and strong ties. So this can help you grow your wealth. This can help you solidify your investment portfolio. So now let us narrow it down to UK property market. Why should you invest in the UK property? Next slide, please. Okay, attractive rental yields. I always tell my clients, you can get up to 7% yearly rental yield when you invest in the UK property market. So UK economy is very diversified. We're talking about health, we're talking about education, and what have we. It is very diversified. Most of the topmost companies, Adidas, Cement, and the rest, Deloitte, Bookings.com, they're all based there. So there's always an influx of professionals, there's always an influx of students who want to go there, meaning there's always a demand for rentals for a home. On strong capital growth, the UK property market has a history I'll be showing you that on the next slide. So it has shown that for the past 100 years, it's proven that the UK property market is a solid place to invest. The UK strong economy, it is solid, it is diversified, there's always a need. And just to add, so there's the UK as a city is not so, doesn't have a lot of land mass, right? So there's not enough space, no homes. The government is looking for people who come and build. So the demand is even way higher than supply. And for an investor, that is good. That's music to our ears. UK's excellent transport links. This economy, this country is very regulated. So the metro links are well connected. And for the agency where I work, Legacy Investment, we always aim to go for properties in prime locations. Sorry about that. I think somebody has a mic unmuted. Thank you. So we always have properties in prime location, meaning you can have people rent out an apartment, a unit, and they can connect to anywhere in the city. So that's one of the advantage. Now let's look at some information. Like I say, the numbers, they don't lie. Next slide. The numbers don't lie. The numbers tell the story. I love data. And what we're seeing here, the first slide, the UK real estate market overview. So this data was gotten from the UK Land Registry and it's there on the UK government website. So basically what this is showing you that for the past 70 to 75 years, the UK property market has seen a significant growth, an upward growth. And even in tough and turbulent time, the UK property market was able to stand. So I'll just talk on some major points. The first one was in 1990 to 1995 when there was the whole global recession, the first global recession. We can see that there was no decline. It didn't go up, it didn't go down. There was just like a stagnation for 5 years. The second global recession, there was a little dip, and this was mostly in the prime areas, which is London. So we had people living there because of the expensive. But aside that, nothing. Then after that, in 2016, this is a major historical fact. In 2016, the UK, they announced that they were going to leave the European Union. And a lot of postulations came up that, oh, Europeans will leave, the economy will crash. But guess what? The UK British pound became stronger than even the dollar. And since then, it's been an upward rise. Even during COVID, when COVID actually messed up with other countries' economy, but there was still an increase in the property market when it comes to UK real estate. So this just shows you that UK as a country is very independent, it's very solid. They don't need anybody's help. They are so diversified. The next one is just, let us look at money. Let's look at the amount. So this just shows you that if you had invested in UK property market in the last 10 years, by now, this is an average score point. So just to note, this is an average. So both in London, in Birmingham, Leeds, is an average point. If you had invested in a UK property 10 or 12 years ago, your property value would have spiked up by over £100,000. Now, you might want to convert that to Naira, and trust me, you'll be smiling. Okay, so let's look at a case study. Let's look at a case study so we can understand how to go into the UK real estate market. So this is one of our properties, just a case study. This is in Manchester. It's called Berkeley Square. And just to reiterate, please, whenever you want to go into the UK market, you will be introduced to a lawyer. So first of all, we go on a call with you, a free consultation call, where we explain, we get to understand your goal, because it's not everybody that wants to rent out their properties in the UK. So people might be for home ownership, some persons might be for rental. So we get to understand, and we look at your portfolio, your finances, your inflows, and we give you the best. So take this, for example, you pay a reservation fee of £5,000. For a low price unit, it can be £2,000, it can be £5,000, depending on the property. And after that, you are introduced to a private lawyer. Now, this lawyer is based in UK. The lawyer doesn't work for the developer. The lawyer doesn't work for the agent. This lawyer works for you. What does the lawyer do? Basically, they check and ensure that you are investing in the right property, that there's the right insurance policy and all. And after that, it takes like 28 to 30 days. It shows you how regulated this economy are. They don't just want you to put your money. They want you to put your money in something that is correct, that is solid, right? So after 28 to 30 days, the checks and balance regarding fraud, anti-fraud and all, you get to pay a certain amount. Now, different units have different payment plan. please, just to put it out there, whenever you want to buy a property, both in UK and Dubai, do not pay into anybody's account. So if you have any developer agent that is telling you come and pay into my account, that is already fraud. So for this company, these economies, what you do is you pay into an escrow account. An escrow account is simply a third-party account where all your money are kept there. So developers, they don't build with your money. If you are going for an off plan, they don't build with your money. It's kept there. Upon completion, when there's an exchange, that is when your money will be transferred over to the developer. So this, your lawyer will be working solely for you. So there are various payment plans, and that's it. So when it comes to the UK property market, we usually tell clients that it's a long-term game. It's towards wealth preservation. Not to waste any more time, let's go to Dubai. Why should you invest in Dubai? Why should you invest in Dubai? So I don't know, for those of us who love to go to YouTube, there's always this advert I see come up, Dubai. Why should you visit Dubai? So everybody wants to travel to Dubai and it's a destination spot, but you can actually turn your destination spot to a place where you make money. So one of the advantages of Dubai is it is tax-free. That is like I always say, I tell my clients, it is music to your ear as an investor. So whatever you're earning from Dubai, you don't pay tax on it, right? So no property or capital gains tax, high rental yields. Like I said earlier, in fact, just on Monday, it was published that Dubai, the government, UAE, they've created more free zones, right? So so when the government is trying to create an economy where more people can come in to do business, so there will always be a need, a demand for houses. World-class infrastructures, of course, the tallest building, it's all about luxury and all. So it's very, very important. Residency by investment. So you can get residency. There's a particular amount you invest in, you get a property and you get residency. There's also an amount you invest in Dubai and you get a golden visa. So the whole back and forth of having to apply for visa or you can solve that by owning a property in Dubai. Excellent connectivity, just like like in UK, the metro links, the road network is all connected, so you can get to places on time. And what we do, we always go for prime spots where people would always want to come in. Ranked as one of the safest countries in the world. I was on Instagram which day and I saw a quote. It was a saying, the Emirate, he said something. It's like, Dubai is one of these countries where a lady can walk on her own as late as 2 a.m. So basically, this is the economy is it. I know a lot of persons, when I talk to some Nigerians, they say, oh, we've been born in Dubai and all, but the economy, the government as a whole, they've made the system, the country open and free for investors, and having a property there is going to be an advantage. So let's look at the process to purchase a property in Dubai. So first of all, you will determine your eligibility. You can buy in freehold properties in areas. So you choose a property and unit, and this is based on your capacity, your portfolio. So you can select from multiple. We have off-plan and completed. So we have off-plan projects. What off-plan simply means is that the project, maybe you see an off-plan that says Q4 2026, meaning by Q4, the fourth quarter of 2026, that's when it will be ready. So you can pay, you have the time frame to pay. Also, you can get completed projects where it's already ready and we sell units that are available. So you sign a sales agreement. These countries are very regulated, so there are governing bodies. In Dubai, you don't pay tax, but there are some certain fees you have to pay to the agency who is in charge of managing these properties. Also, no objection certificate. There are some payments and fees and mortgages. I forgot to add that. For international clients, which if you're in Nigeria, you are part of it, for UK and for Dubai, you are entitled to 70% mortgage. So you can get that. You can spread the payments, determine the eligibility. And we are partners with some banks, FCMB and also some banks in Nigeria. There are branches abroad. We are partners with them. So also the finance stage. So all I want to say is, I know most people say, oh, I don't have the money now. It's a lot of money. But one thing I can tell you is, like the first speaker said, it's a waiting game. Knowledge is power. You can begin to plan for this. You can begin to process this. So we have some low priced properties which goes in automatically for rentals. And if you are able to know, okay, this is what I want to go into. I want to own a property in the future, you can begin to plan towards it. Now you are equipped to the right knowledge that you need a lawyer there who will protect your investment. You don't pay directly into any account. You have an escrow account and you are sure of your rentals. And just to add, because somebody might ask, okay, I'm not based there. How do I manage it? There's something called property management, right? Property management. So basically, when you get this property, there are property managers who will ensure that your unit is rented out, right? And remember, the law of supply and demand, the demand is quite high. So your unit is rented out, they manage it, they check the person who is coming in. Even when the client moves out, your tenant moves out, they check that everything is okay. They're the ones that manage it. So we have clients that who have owned properties for over 3 years and they've never traveled to UK or they've not gone to Dubai, but they're making money from it. So like they say, now is the best time to start. And yeah, thank you very much. I'll stop here. Rector, over to you.
Okay, thank you very much, Rose, for that. So far, we've seen REITs, we've seen land banking, we've seen co-ownership, and then we've also seen international opportunities from Rose. So what I'm going to do is talk about fractional ownership. Please confirm you can hear me. You can still hear me, right? All right, great. So fractional ownership has come to play and has come to stay because the world is a global village. You're no longer limited by your location, and technology is a massive enabler. Of course, people have been delving into cryptocurrencies. We're not going to touch much on cryptocurrencies, but it is now become mainstream. And properties like Rose has been talking about in Dubai, in the UK, in the US, they're accepting cryptocurrencies as forms of payment at the moment. So you can see now that you have an opportunity to earn passive income in foreign currency to hedge against inflation back home in Nigeria. We're going to take two different examples of fractional ownership, and you can see from the examples, or you will see from the examples, that it is actually within reach. So Rose is telling us about £5,000, £2,000. Some people are not there yet, but we will get there. But for now, let's look at how to do this using fractional ownership. Okay? So one of the premium fractional ownership apps is the Piggyvest app. It's actually quite popular among the Gen Zs, the younger people. I don't know how many people here have used Piggyvest, but I think I've been on Piggyvest for the past 5 years. It is Africa's most popular savings and investment app. They are boasting around 5 million users to date. This is something you can quickly, as we are talking now, go to the App Store and download immediately. Right? Now, there are different types of opportunities you can find there. They do things like corporate debt and all these other things that we talked about in the previous masterclass, the financial market masterclass. But today, since we're talking about real estate, you also see a real estate tab. So currently, I think these are the ones I saw last week. You see 7 units of high yield luxury 3-bedroom apartment in Lekki. And these people, these developers, these ones are minimalist and co. They've been vetted. So you can see that all that work of vetting the opportunities has been done by this Piggyvest company. And now they have broken that apartment into small shares. So for as little as 19,833 Naira, you buy a share in that property and you can invest immediately. And of course, you can sell at any point when you are experiencing some sort of capital appreciation. Okay? There's another opportunity right there for just 12,884 Naira for a share in that 2-bed apartment in Lekki, Lagos, in a 16-unit high-end luxury development. So you can see that all these things are not far-fetched. They are things that are within our reach. There are things that you can actually go and see. This one, you don't have to pay ticket and go to Dubai. You can see this one in Lagos and go and verify that this thing is actually being built and all of that. Pay for it. Depending on your income level, I'm sure most of us on this call can afford to buy at least 10 shares or maybe 5 shares of this particular development. And with a minimum investment of like 10,000, again, you are back on the property ladder. So let's not keep thinking that we need one big money, to get us there. You can actually get on the property ladder with as little as 10,000 naira if you begin to invest in these fractional ownership opportunities. Okay, so this is for the locals. And then for those who are international, they have an app called Stick app. You can also download that. But this one is mostly for people that are interested in Middle East opportunities. Okay, from Kingdom of Saudi Arabia, UAE, Oman, and Bahrain. You can find properties there, and of course, begin to invest small, $100, $200, $300. You begin to buy units. And over time, you can see on the third one, you see that you just received $800 in rent for 4 properties. You can choose to reinvest, or you can just cash out your profit immediately. So you can see now that you don't really need so much money to get on these things. Of course, you need to do your due diligence, and they also would need to do what is called KYC, know your customer, which is quite intensive. They will check your details and all of that, and then before they admit you onto the platform. Once you're on the platform, you can now begin to do your transactions using dollars. Obviously, this is an international one. And over time, you begin to earn your real estate income that hits your account directly in dollars. So that way, you're not just making money, but you are hedging against inflation, which is the big deal right now in Nigeria. You can see a country that inflation can just in a few months go to 39%. Then overnight, they'll tell you it's 27%. What happened? We don't know. They're just playing around with the figures. So it's quite precarious to be investing solely in Nigeria. So it's something that everybody should consider. You don't have to break the bank to be part of this, but you can also intentionally start putting away dollars for this sort of investments. Of course, there are other apps you can consider. There's CrowdStreet, there's Arrived Homes, Fundrise, Real Bricks. Please do your research. Google all these names you're seeing here, check them out, find out about the reviews of these apps and all of that, and then, of course, make your decision. Okay? So I think that's pretty much it in terms of the fractional ownership opportunities. As you can see, we've talked today about residential, commercial. There's also the land banking part of it. And we also have REITs. For me, today, if you didn't take anything out of today, I'm a big proponent of REITs. You can literally 6 naira 70 kobo for 1 unit of the shares. How many can you buy just tomorrow? Literally, you are on the property ladder if you have never made an investment in real estate. So please don't miss out on it. The chart on my right-hand side is telling us about the different allocations that people would normally put in these real estate opportunities. So from agriculture to rental, to land, to direct investment, you can see the different percentages. Of course, everybody's risk appetite is different. So you have to decide, am I putting 20% of my money in REITs? Am I putting 10% in commercial real estate? Am I putting 15% in residential real estate? Am I going to hold on to 20% in land banking and all of that, just to keep your portfolio diversified? And then you can know that each different segment has its own attendant percentage profits, and the potential is also different. So with that, I would like to bring us to the end of this session. Like I said, we've talked about REITs, we've talked about land banking, we've talked about co-ownership, we've talked about international opportunities, and finally, we've talked about fractional ownership. So if you have any questions on these, then we'd like to take them. So now we'll probably go to the chat box. So the practitioners, please just look out for questions and begin to prepare your answers as we take them. Thank you very much. All right, so it's over to us on the call. Questions, please. Okay, Victor Jaja, great presentation, thanks. Are there any questions? I'm not seeing any questions. Are there any questions from the audience? It's like everything was understood. Though. There are no questions today. This is fantastic. Or am I missing something? Rose, Francis, can you see any questions?
None from my end. I can't see any.
Okay. Okay, I think they're coming in now. So Lawrence says, what other brokers would you recommend apart from Stanbic? There are other people like I think uh FSDH is another broker that I know of, and I know they're good. There are many. But for me, Stanbic is my number one. I just like them. I already have good rapport with them. I've used them, and I can only vouch for people I've used, but there are many others. Like I said, FSDH is a good one to look into. Okay.
We're having a lot of questions. Yeah.
Okay, questions are coming in. Please, how is tax on income from UK property? So Rose, that's for you.
All right, thank you very much. I think so. Now I want to correct that because that's like a myth. And I'm glad that that question popped up because we have a lot of people saying, I don't want to go into the UK property market because I'll put all my money in tax. So I'll try and make it simple. When it comes to tax, it can be quite technical, but I will answer it in a very simple way. When it comes to UK property market, I think that one of the only, if not one, if not the only, that allows for income allowance. Even Nigeria doesn't do that, meaning for the first 13 months, the income you make, whatever you make, right, the first $13, sorry, the first 13,000 pounds you make, the first 30,000 pounds you make, you don't pay tax on it. Meaning, if you were earning, let's say, you were getting rental yields of 1,000 pounds and you got to 13,000 pounds, you begin to pay your tax on the next one. So you don't pay, there's a tax income allowance that is given to all residents, whether you are international property owner or you're there, there's an income allowance. So that's how it is, it's regulated. Then now let me give an example. If probably your monthly rental yield is like 1,500 pounds and you now get, let's say in how many months you get 15,000 pounds, you do not pay tax on 13,000 pounds. You would then get to pay like a 20% yearly tax on the 2,000. So that's how it works. But there's a lot of myth out there that is a lot. Then one good thing is if you decide now, I don't know, the person that asked the question, I think it's Sir Ayo, if you decide to own a property with your wife, right? Both of you can now own 2 income allowance on that property, meaning both of you will not get to pay tax. You are getting double. So that's how it works, and it's very favorable. Then you might even decide, there's a point where you might decide, oh, okay, if we look at your goal and we see that you want to own a lot of property in UK, we can advise you, you can register a company in UK, wherein you're not going to pay the regular tax. You're not going to pay like a corporate tax, which is quite smaller. So when it comes to tax, it can get complicated, but for payment of tax, you don't pay tax on the first 30,000 pounds you earn in UK. Thank you. I hope that.
Fantastic. Thank you very much. And then, of course, you can always connect with her. You're in the same group already. You're in the investors group. Okay. I see Blessing has reached out to Femi, who was asking a question about land banking. Fantastic. Okay, great. Other questions, please. Okay, Ruth. Please, what platform can we access UPDC credit REITs? Like I said, your stockbroker should be able to get you on it. It's listed in the Nigerian Stock Exchange. So anywhere you can buy Nigerian stocks, you can get it. So like I said, I have just opened, after the last financial market masterclass, I opened a Stanbic, what's it called, stockbroking account. And immediately from your phone, you can buy it direct, just like you are loading MTN. That's how easy you can do it. So something that everybody should look into. So whichever broker you want to use, fine, but you can just get it from anybody that sells stocks that are listed on the Nigerian exchange. Okay, so that's to Ruth Ifeoluwa. Okay. Any other? Okay. Thank you very much. I've been on Piggyback Vest app for no less than 4 years have been snoozing. Ah, okay, wake up, Emmanuel Nobeto. Don't snooze again, no. Okay, Rose, from your experience international, this is from Victor Jaja. Which is more profitable between UK and Dubai?
So one thing we always tell our clients is we don't pitch one against another, right? But if you are entering, for those who are entering into property market, we will tell you that, okay, it's easier getting in UK than in Dubai. Dubai is quite technical. There are lots of things you have to do. So we don't pitch because it's profitable. For UK, the earnings, you can get as high as 7 to 8% in your rental. It's the same with Dubai, right? So we don't pitch one to another. But for entry points, we give you, we might say, okay, go into UK, the UK property market. From there, you begin to diversify into the Dubai real estate. Because Dubai, most of the properties there are quite luxurious, right? We're talking about the Bugatti, Mercedes-Benz properties, so they're quite luxurious. So yeah, that's it.
Okay, thank you. So someone said there are questions from YouTube. Okay, Ini, please, can you help with that? I can't go to YouTube at the moment. So if you can check YouTube, and then Ini, help us if you can hear us. Ini, are you with us?
Yes, I'm checking.
Okay, fantastic. Thank you very much. So any other questions on the group? Okay, whilst we're still thinking about our questions, let me just talk a little bit about the master classes. Okay, like I mentioned earlier on, our goal as the New Kings low-cost investors. So everybody on this call that gave a presentation, we're part of a group. Yeah, we have an investment group in our community called the New Kings. And you can see that our goal is to actually inform, educate, and give people actionable steps. It's kind of like a ministry for us, right? We're doing it so that people can be well positioned to make better decisions going forward and actually find a way to get additional income streams. Everybody, we all know that your one source of income, either from your job or whatever, is not going to cut it anymore. So you need different sources flowing in. So we have gone out of our way to curate these masterclass sessions. The first one was in February. We did the financial markets masterclass. And then now in March, we have taken the real estate. So next month, April, on the 22nd, I'm going to be taking the crypto and commodities masterclass. So please do well to be part of it if it's something that interests you. Some of us have been saying, oh, I want to get into crypto. I don't know what to do. This is a good opportunity for you to learn the basics and how you can immediately, for us, the focus is on actionable. What can I do immediately? You know, and so that we're going to be doing that next month. And then also there's a group called the Prospective New Kings Group, people who would like to be part of our community or maybe just want to get information on what's happening next. There's the QR code here. You can just scan it immediately and join that group if you're not already on the group. And pretty much that's it. Okay, there's a hand up. Emmanuel Noberto, you have a hand up. Maybe you want to unmute and speak. Go ahead. Hello, Emmanuel.
Coach, there's a question on crowdfunding from YouTube that's posted.
Okay. Let me see what that question is. Just
okay, let me read it out. Can I go ahead?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, please throw some light on crowdfunding. I saw it on the slide, but nothing was mentioned about it. I think that's Mr. Francis.
Was that Mr. Francis? I don't think he said co-ownership. So maybe I can help with crowdfunding, right? It's similar. Literally, that co-ownership or even fractional ownership is there are different variants of crowdfunding, right? So there's a big project. Of course, you don't have the whole money to buy into that project, but you can bring your small quota. So the owner of the project tells you how much the entire project costs, and then he carves it up into different pieces and says this unit or this share is worth this. And then you bring your money, buy into it. Of course, there are terms of the agreement, and then you know what you're going to be getting at different intervals. So it's pretty much what Francis talked about, and then also what I spoke about in the end under fractional ownership. I hope that helps. Okay, Rose, minimum amount of investment for real estate in the UK. I think you already said that. It's like between £2,000 and £5,000, right?
Yes,
Hello,
please.
Rose.
Yes,
That's the
I'm here.
deposit. So
Okay, so
Deposit. Okay,
yeah,
yes,
let me
go ahead,
explain.
please. Explain.
It's a disclaimer for me. Okay, so we have high price properties, we have low price properties. Right now, currently, we have a property close to London that is going for about under £200,000. And what we do, so I don't just feel scared, like we don't ask for 100% cash. Yeah, it's a payment plan. So for some properties, the entry point might just be you just need to pay when you pay your reservation fee, like £2,000 or £5,000, as the case may be. You get to pay 20% deposit. Then you can pay the completion of you can pay the balance upon completion. So it depends on the property. But currently at Legacy Investment, we have a property in London that is completed that is going for under 200,000 pounds. Thank you.
Okay, Rose, I think there was something else maybe you've missed out, which is there's the opportunity for you to link buyers up with mortgage providers, something like that, right?
Yes. Thank you for that. Thank you. Yes. So for all our international clients, you are entitled to 70% mortgage. So there's something that is called buy to let, right? And so most of these mortgage providers, they're always interested because they know that you are getting this property to rent out. So you get to pay the money you took to get the property. You get to pay it from your rental income. So you can get up to 70%. So that's available also. So you don't pay upfront, you don't pay everything. You are entitled to the mortgage plan up to 70%.
Fantastic. All right. So I'm not seeing any questions again. Who said there was a question from YouTube? Do you want to read that one?
those were the questions that they were posted on Rose read the other time.
Okay, great. Okay. It's like everybody got what we said now. So like I always like these sessions to be short, sharp, to the point. We've done an hour and 12 minutes. If we don't have somebody's asking how can one register with Stanbic? You want to register on this call? Go to Stanbic now. All right, just go to
I
Stanbic
want
Bank.
to also add to somebody asked a question about the brokers to use.
Yes, please go
Yeah,
ahead.
you had already mentioned Stanbic. If you go to Meristem or download their app, Meritrade, you can also use that. You can
Fantastic.
also use Bamboo app. So with the Bamboo app, you can do both the US stock market. You can also do the Nigerian stock market. And then the foreign stocks, you can also get them on Bamboo app. Meritrade is strictly for Nigerian stocks. And then you can do Trove, Chaka, you can do Yocha, Invest. These are different platforms that you can use to just start immediately.
Fantastic. So Trove, Bamboo, Chaka, Invest, Meritrade. There's too
Yocha.
much now. Yocha. Thank you very much, Madam B. All right. So I think I'd like to draw the curtain here if there are no other questions. And I hope you guys have picked up one or two things. Please, if you have, maybe you can just share on the comment page, the chat page, one step you're going to take after this masterclass. So please just put it quickly on the chat box so that we get to feel the pulse in the room.
Somebody's hand is up.
Okay, great. Whose hand is up? I can't really see from my. All right, Emmanuel, go ahead, please.
No, it's the same. Emmanuel, he apologized earlier on that he commented what he wanted to say, that it's not really. I guess he didn't know how to
Okay,
bring
that's fine.
down his hand back. Yeah.
Bring down his hand. Okay, so please, can you just drop quickly what your next steps are in the chat box? What are you doing? Which of the 5? Great. Okay, Grace has downloaded Piggyverse already. Okay, fantastic. Piggy Vest, REITs, okay, Bamboo, Lawrence, okay, God's will, you're downloading Piggy Vest immediately. All right, who else? We have over 70 people on this call. I want to see our next steps, please. Very, very important before we shut down. Okay, Wills, starting with Piggy Vest. Downloaded Bamboo, Piggy Vest, Classic, Merry Trade. The remaining 60 people, what are you doing? You want to pray about it? Increasing my Georgia shares. AY, fantastic. I'm waiting. All right. AB is contacting Stanbic Brokers on Monday. Piggy Vest, Aderinto, John Oluye. No, we're not sharing the slides. You can find this on YouTube. Just go to Dominion Coach and it will be there hopefully by the end of tonight. Okay, REITs, Piggy Vest, fantastic. Maria King, broker account opening, buy into UPDC REITs. Please also look at other REITs, yeah? Like I said, there's Union Homes REITs and then there's SFS REITs. But UPDC is the biggest and the oldest, right? So you can look into other ones and then make a decision.
There's a question, Director.
Okay, Francis, can you advise on the best way to deal with or avoid land grabbers, government interest, etc., etc.? So, Francis, maybe you just unmute and speak to that.
Yes. Actually, Madam B spoke about land-related stuff. So for me, buying from trusted and verified sources is one of the. But by the way, there's no risk-free investment. The lower your risk, the lower the margin you are also going to make. So sometimes your risk exposure also increases your profit possibilities. However, working with someone who has gone through a path before makes it a lot easier for you to pass through that route. And like they say, you can't be in a moving train and remain stagnant. So leverage on the expertise of other people, and it makes it a lot easier for you. That would be my ideal recommendation.
All right. So thank you very much, everybody, for your time. I want us to close on time today and get ready for the Crypto and Commodities Masterclass for April 22nd. So without spending much time, I would like to say thank you to Francis, thank you to Rose, thank you to Blessing for your time. I know how long it took us to put this together. I know the plenty work I made all of us do to get it here, but it was a great one, good outing. And I hope and I believe everybody that came on got something that they will take away and act on immediately. So with that, I would like to bring this meeting to a close. And I look forward to the different conversations we'll be having on the groups as we progress with our different investment opportunities. So thank you once again and good night.